It was Texas, it was Tennessee. It was what
Howdy, folks. Welcome in. You have arrived at the Texas to Tennessee podcast. My name is Steve. Up top, that's Soule Gravy. This is his show.
Howdy.
Be nice to him, please, so we can continue to do this.
Yeah.
Tonight, we have Jessica Loobey in to join us. Welcome in, Jessica.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for taking time to hang with us. I know it sounds probably not like what you were thinking you wanted to do on a Tuesday night at 8 o'clock, but
Well, I was just glad it wasn't 8 a.m. instead.
yes. Also, we were also glad about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Folks, if you're on YouTube, you're in the right place. If you're on TikTok, thank you for being here. Please go join us on YouTube. You can see everybody and hear everybody, and that kind of is the purpose. So hit the subscribe button. It's free. We really appreciate it. I think Soule Gravy, did we hit 1,600?
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty impressive.
Almost to 1650.
You know how hard it is to get 1,600 people in one place?
Mm-hmm.
Very difficult.
Yeah. It's been really cool.
Absolutely. Well, congrats. Jessica, we are going to ask you to take just a couple minutes, and if you wouldn't mind, just give us a little bit of your backstory, and then we'll get into some really interesting questions.
All right, well, let's start with stuff I know about first. I'm an independent country music artist from Sturgis, South Dakota. I grew up on a ranch, did the cows and the horses and everything in between my whole life. We lived the ranching life, and I wouldn't give that up for anything in the world. But I've been singing since I was little. I started doing full band and big shows about 4 years ago. So kind of new to the music scene in that aspect. Most people say that their music career it's a 10-year start or whatever, and before they really get to get out and do anything to a big extent. But going on year 4 here, and so we traveled all the Midwest. Like I said, I'm in South Dakota, so we do North Dakota, Wyoming, Nebraska, Colorado, into Iowa. It's kind of been our basis for the last couple of years. We just got home from the Midwest Country Music Awards show that was in Okoboji, Iowa, and we were nominated in 4 different spots. So Entertainer of the Year, Album of the Year, and Collaboration of the Year. And then I just learned last night that I am a nominee at the Josie Music Awards in Nashville at the Grand Ole Opry this year for Country Female Artist of the Year. So.
Fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Super congratulations. Very exciting.
Thank you.
Soule Gravy, what was the last award you were nominated for?
The last one I just listed?
Oh, no, I was asking.
Oh, okay.
Soule Gravy.
Yeah, I don't know.
On the spot. All right. Same here. So
I don't
that's
know.
awesome
Sure.
that folks are recognizing your work. So congrats on that.
Yeah, thank you so much.
All right. So here's the deal, Jessica. We invite you in, and then we give you a break right out of the start. So I don't want to make sure everything's settled. I quiz Soule Gravy on famous folks from your hometown during this section. So I think you described that you're from very close to Sturgis. We're going to use Belle Fourche, Deadwood, and Sturgis because, as I understand it, I think you're in the middle of all 3 of those, and they're relatively close to each other.
Yep.
All right. Well, good luck, Soule Gravy.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Let's start with Belle Fourche. Belle Fourche is French for, I think, 2 forks, but I did not. The 2 rivers, maybe? Are there 2 rivers in Belle Fourche?
No.
No. Okay. All right. Well,
You're not doing very well.
I'm 0 for 2. I want to say that's it means 2 forks, but that's probably wrong. Anyway, first person, Soule Gravy. His name is Jason Kubel.
I don't think I'm familiar with Jason's work. No.
Jason played for the Twins. Pretty good baseball player. Shout out to Jason.
All right.
One other person, I think you might be familiar. His name is Tennessee Jet.
I am, and I was thinking that sounded familiar for a reason.
Absolutely.
Tennessee Jet. I'm sure the highlight of his career so far has been coming on this Texas Tennessee podcast.
Pretty sure.
Shout out to TJ.
TJ born in Belfouche. Also ended up moving eventually to Oklahoma and then to Tennessee and back to Oklahoma and probably some other places. But one of our favorite folks. Episode number 75, folks. Go check it out. All right, we're going to move to Deadwood. I feel like you have a chance here. So you're 1 for 2.
All right.
It's not bad.
Right.
Calamity Jane.
I mean, I know that she was like an Old West character of
All right.
sorts, but I don't know exactly what all she. I don't know what actually was true and what was from all the movies and TV shows.
Her actual name was Martha Jane Canary, maybe.
Okay.
Went by Calamity Jane. We just have Frontiers Woman, so we're gonna give you credit on that.
Okay.
One.
All right.
Well done. General George Crook.
I'm not familiar with his work, but I'm assuming he's a general.
He was.
That was a general assumption.
He pursued the Sioux Indians in the Battle of Little Bighorn on an exhibition that ended in Deadwood in early September, known as the Horse Meat March.
Okay. All right.
Educational.
All right.
All right. Dora Dufran.
I don't think I'm familiar with Dora.
Dora's a well-known brothel owner in Deadwood.
Well known.
Shout out to Dora.
Okay.
All right. This person
Was this
also
back in the day, or is this? This I know this is not
she
currently.
passed in 1934, so I think it was back in the day. All right. This person I don't think was born in Deadwood, but spent a significant amount of time. His name's Wyatt Earp.
Yeah, I'm familiar with the lawman, Wyatt Earp.
All right. Shout out to Wyatt Earp. Also during, I would say, pretty close to the same time, maybe just a little before, Wild Bill Hickok.
Yeah, same thing.
All right.
Same scenario. I mean, again, I don't know what all is true and what all is fiction, considering all the movies that have been about both of those characters. But yes.
All right. Good job. You're doing
Western characters.
Do you know what the card hand is called that he's famous for?
Is that the Dead Man's Hand?
Mm-hmm.
I think so.
I didn't really know that, but I pieced it together. Yeah.
+1 for Soule Gravy on that one.
What is the Dead Man's Hand? I can't remember what the actual cards are made of. I can't remember. We got two things to look up. Belfouche. Okay, I got it.
Yeah.
I got research to do.
Get with our intern on that.
Okay.
All right. Let's see. We're gonna move to Jack McCall.
I don't think I'm familiar with his work.
Closely related to the last person we described.
Okay, but I could piece it together, but I'm not familiar with his work. So.
All right, he eliminated Wild Bill. He was
Okay.
also known as Crooked Nose, so it's tough to go through life with that.
That's a tough name to pick up chicks with.
It is. Also, in terms of the dialogue, maybe even a tougher name, Madam Mustache.
That was his name?
No, that's the next person.
Okay.
We don't even know what her
I'm
real name is. Okay, she was a professional gambler. And then finish it off, very colorful names, Potato Creek Johnny.
Potato Creek Johnny. I'm not familiar with Potato's work. I'm a fan of potatoes, though.
He was a pretty well-known gold prospector. So,
okay.
Yeah, all right. We are going to move to...
But wait, there's more.
There is more. Hold on. Oh, did I miss it? Oh, where is my Sturgis, folks? Oh, here it is. All right.
We had some Sturgis folks in the chat on TikTok, by the way, that I know that are involved in the kickstand. I guess a club, bar, events. Center.
Kickstand, yep, bar and campground.
Oh, cool. Very cool.
Yeah,
all right.
we just played there on Friday.
Oh, very
Great timing.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I'm just going to give you one from Sturgis. There are many that I could, but I also want to respect our time here. So,
all right.
J.C. Pappy Hoel, Hoel.
I'm not familiar with Pappy's work.
What do you
I like
think
the
of?
name though.
Wouldn't you think? I do like the name too. What do you think of when you think of Sturgis?
I should have said Pappy instead of Soule Gravy. I think of motorcycles and heels.
All right. Well,
So
start
what
with
did
the
he
first
do
part.
with motorcycles?
He was credited with starting the Sturgis motorcycle rally.
Okay.
So there we go.
Very cool.
Soul Gravy, I'm going to give you a 40%. I think you did pretty
Fair.
well, better than expected. So it's a
Yeah.
win. All right.
Yeah.
All right, Jessica, thank you for bearing with our shenanigans. We will get on to the important questions. This is the weird one we're going to ask. Everything else kind of is easier from here, but this one's called the pie question.
The pie question.
The pie
Okay.
question. Yep. We
All
are going
right.
to give you a musical pie that we're going to divide up into 4 sections. Those
Okay.
four sections include songwriting, recording, performing, and then the 4th section is everything else that is not one of those 3 sections, but would be kind of running the business,
Okay.
your business.
Yep.
So where do you go to first? What is it that you feel like this is my strength out of those 4 areas?
Probably the performing.
Okay, performing.
Yep. Yep.
And is that something that you figured out right away, or is that something that you've kind of evolved into?
Definitely evolved. When I was younger, I was really shy, so I would have
Okay.
never pictured myself being on stage in front of anybody, and and over the time, I've just gotten more comfortable with it. I've learned how to engage with the crowd, keep people on their toes, get the younger generation involved. I always tell the band that it's most important to me to connect with the people that are there, because really, what else what good are you doing if you're not doing that, right? So
For sure.
we always take a lot of time and talk to anybody that comes up to the stage afterwards, and so yeah, I feel like all of that is involved with the whole performance aspect.
Sure, absolutely. And then I guess I know you said at first maybe it was something that you weren't maybe super confident at. At what
Hmm.
point, or was there a point where you're like, okay, this is my jam. This is what I really get a kick out of. This is what I enjoy. This is what I'm best at. It. Was there a moment where you kind of realized that?
Yeah, I had been part of, well, I did an acoustic duo early on in high school, and then that kind of fell to the wayside. And then actually COVID year, I ended up filling in for another girl that wasn't able to fulfill her gigs because of COVID. And so then after I had done that for almost 2 years, because that drug on forever, with the COVID, it just didn't let up. So eventually I decided, you know what? I think I really want to do this. I think I really want to just put my whole heart and soul in this and go all in, because I can tell that I want more, and I'm just going to have to jump in and do it and see what happens.
Cool. All right. Well, let's talk about what falls next on that list of 4 things. What do you go? Okay, performance is my thing, but
Hmm.
I also like doing this. What would be next for you?
Probably the songwriting.
Okay. We love talking about songwriting here. So let's see. Everybody, it feels like everybody we talk to has a little bit different approach to kind of getting the songs out. What can you tell us anything about yours?
Yeah. I feel like my writing is probably opposite of the traditional, because I don't have a huge music theory background. So I always go lyrics first and then
Okay.
melody and everything later. So, a lot of most all of my writing has come from true personal experience, because that's what you are best able to write about.
Sure. You have to use your
And
environment. Yeah.
yeah, and it can definitely be, vulnerable and really tough to put yourself out there like that. But honestly, that's the best way to connect, because inevitably there's somebody out there that is feeling that same thing, or and they want to know that you can be on the same level as them and have that experience too. So it's definitely been a lot of personal experience, personal feelings, things I've been through, things I've seen. And some of it's, happy, great stuff, and some of it's really deep, vulnerable, hard stuff. But in the end, I think that's what makes a great song, is the emotion either way.
And I know this seems maybe a little bit granular, but because you do start with lyrics, are you a lyrics in the phone kind of person, or do you like to like sit
No,
down and write them out? Or
sit
oh, you
down.
do? Okay.
Yep, sit down, write them out. I might, if I hear something and I'm somewhere, and be like, oh, I got to remember that. I'll type it in my phone. But if I'm in the writing mood, I'm sitting on the couch with a pen and paper, writing it out, scratching it out, starting over, writing it out.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just not the same feel if you're just typing it out in your notes.
Sure, I understand.
Mm-hmm.
There is something about the feeling of putting the actual pen to paper. So I get
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
All right, so we've eliminated two. What comes next? What's third
What were
on
the
that
other
list?
choices? The
Recording and
Oh
then
yeah.
the business.
Um, I would say the recording is my next favorite. I don't know that it's my next strength, but definitely that's where the magic happens, right?
Okay,
So since I don't have this huge, musical theory background, when I go to record, all I have is just 4 or 5 basic chords, a basic, melody, strum pattern, whatever. It's just acoustic guitar. There's nothing else. And take it to the studio and watch it blossom into this magical, thing. And you're like, wow, how did that go from that to this that is, sounds like a radio hit over, this span of a few hours?
sure.
Those musicians that you work with in the studio they've never heard it a day in their life, and they go in and make this amazing thing, and you're like, I could have never come up with that alone, so that's where the magic is. And I've always wanted to be part of that. A lot of musicians will send their stuff off and they'll just do vocals by themselves and let the
Right.
rest come, um, and not be there for it. And I can't do that. I want to be in the room. I want to see it progress. I want to see it build. And I think that's half the fun of actually bringing your work to life.
Do you have you thought in your head about potentially maybe being more involved in the maybe production side, or I know that's maybe something down the road, or you're like, hey Steve, that's not even entered my brain, but that sounds like you enjoy it. So
Yeah, I do. I don't think I would ever be in a position where I would want to start producing rather than, make
Mm-hmm.
being an artist. But
right,
it
okay,
is a really cool thing to be part of.
all right, great, all right. Well, we've eliminated three. Let's talk about the fourth piece of the pie. It's like a horrible test that won't end. Um, tell us about your team, or if you have a team, anybody that's helping you with
Yep.
the fourth piece.
Yep. The fourth piece could have all sorts of stuff. But as far as business goes, I do have a couple agents I work with. And it's great because I still have the freedom to book my own stuff, but they have the, ability to reach some higher, bigger things that I can't
Sure.
independently.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Okay, cool.
And so, yeah, we have a good hometown team here where everybody works together. And, a lot of musicians here, there's not a huge amount of venues that are live music here. So we really have to depend on each other to go, hey, I just, got to play this and it was really cool. You should try to get in there, because inevitably nobody is going to be able to have a venue exclusively to them because it's just not
Sure.
possible here,
Right.
and venues aren't going to book the same band constantly anyway. So you might as well, if you throw
Mm-hmm.
someone a gig and be like, hey, this is a great spot, you should try it, then they're more than likely to return the favor and be like, well, I got this spot you should try out, so there's really a camaraderie here even within our area for the musicians that help each other. But otherwise, my band is great. They're super supportive. I have some musicians that are just really super kick ass. I don't know if I'm supposed to say that on here,
That's
but
okay.
Yeah,
I
you
am.
can. We're pretty
Uh,
loose, so yeah, you're good.
so I've gotten really, really lucky. Everybody has over the moon talent, and that's really hard to find up here too. There's not a lot of, especially like lead guitar players.
Ah,
there's there's just not,
none. Yeah,
so it's tough. And then you narrow it down to, well, they have to be country. Well, now you've eliminated another half of them that aren't
sure.
aren't country. So and then to have, well, do you have any experience in running sound? Do you have the equipment and the ability to play a street dance? If we wanted to do a street dance, do we have to always depend on production agents? So
Right.
I am really, really lucky and blessed that I have the ability to provide all that myself rather than having to depend and reach out and pay other, elements to come in and provide that stuff. So that gives us a great opportunity to play a lot more than we would be able to, because there's just a lot of venues are like, well, if you can't provide your own production, then you're out,
Yeah,
because they're like, we're not paying for it. So,
sure. Okay.
that's a pretty hefty bill in itself if you have
Yeah, it
to
is.
reach out to a production company. So,
Well, and that's a little bit. I don't know if I want to say unique, but that's. I mean, there are
yeah,
plenty of places where that is provided. So yes,
right,
it can be
right.
tricky for sure. So
Yep.
All right, Soul Gravy, your turn.
Just to clean up a few things. So aces and eights. This is Dead Man's Hand.
Hmm.
I should have known that.
I almost said that, but I didn't want to sound like an
I
idiot.
completely understand. Well, that's my job. That's my job to sound like that.
Yeah, but I live
Um,
here, and then I brought it up. So,
and Casey is in the chat. The lady that I was talking about
oh,
from the area with
hey, Casey.
that works at kickstands, and she said that she loves some Jessica, so she's already familiar. And the other thing was it means beautiful fork.
Okay. See, I knew there wasn't two significant rivers there.
So so I'm curious.
Thanks, TJ.
We don't talk. I guess we did talk to Tennessee Jet about your area a little bit, but I'm curious of what we all hear Sturgis and all everything that has to do with motorcycles, but and when those times of year come around, what does that do to the musical as far as the landscape of what you're able to do and other musicians in the area? What's that do as far as business and bringing you gigs and things of that nature?
It really, in that aspect, it really helps us
Hmm.
because suddenly every venue wants live music every night because they're competing with the next venue. So, venues that would barely book a live band once a month are now, they need something every night.
Hmm.
So it gives everybody an opportunity to bust their butts and have a chance to play every night for 10 days if they want to. And the area is so spread out now. The Sturgis Motorcycle Rally has grown so big that it can't be contained just in Sturgis because our town is a town of 7,000. So you take a town of 7,000 and you put 500,000 people in there for that week, it just isn't possible. So you really branch out and you end up like Deadwood's a really hot spot during rally. The Spearfish area, Spearfish Canyon, Rapid City with the Mount Rushmore. So there's tons of opportunity for music in that
Hmm.
that week. So you just put your head down and go because you know that it's gonna all be worth it at the end, but you're gonna be pretty tired.
Yes. I mean that basically, like you in your position, like that is a time to really just capitalize on as
Yep.
much of it as you can.
Yep.
Is that something that takes a lot of, I guess, time as far as what am I trying to say? Is that something you're looking at months and months away, trying to
Hmm.
capitalize on that moment
Yep.
as much as you can?
Yeah. I mean, rally happens the first week of August, and you're looking at getting stuff booked and getting things lined up in March because these people, everybody, this is the hot spot, right? Everybody wants to come in and play that, and it's on their bucket list, and they want to be able to start building their name so that maybe they could get out on the big stage and open for a national act or whatever. So, yeah, you gotta get with the program and claim your spots and get your contacts and and there's a lot of good relationships to be built, and we've gotten to do some pretty cool things that week. So
I
it's
would imagine some of those connections can roll over past, you can make new connections during that time to
mm-hmm.
have you some gigs and things
Yep.
after that,
Yeah.
after everybody's left, when it's
Yep.
back down to 7,000.
Right. Yeah, because
Um,
a lot of the bar owners are local, so or in the campgrounds and everything. So on the off season, they might have a fundraiser, or they might have, a bull riding, or they might, I don't know what, but so yeah, that gets you out there to be like, oh yeah, we had them during rally, let's have them for this.
when folks come to one of your shows, what are some? I know that you have to throw in some covers as well as your originals.
Yeah.
Just give me a couple of your favorite covers to just like what would be a good representation of what you actually want to play.
A lot of my new album has some Little Big Town influence on it. So we
Okay.
always do Little White Church. That's a hit every time. It doesn't matter if we're doing a 1 hour show that's mostly originals or all originals, and we're just going to throw one cover in for, a fun crowd experience. That song is definitely one that catches everybody. it's great. It has great harmony in it for the whole band. Lots of good, uh, yeah, response is what I was trying to say. Lots of good response for that.
No, I understand, and I guess that's why I asked, is because each band has songs that you always have to play, but
Yeah,
then there's songs that you like to play, and that
right.
there is a difference between those
Yes,
sometimes.
yes.
Um, and one of the cool things about being able to be live on YouTube and Facebook and everything is people can ask questions in real time. So, Mr. Green wanted to ask if you, if in those scenarios when you're playing so much in that short amount of time, are you coming up with a bunch of different playlists each time, or are you kind of going repeating the same show, or it just depends?
It's it's a lot of the same music, but at the same time we try to cater to the venue we're in. So,
Gotcha.
if we are reading the crowd and it's like, man, these guys are really,
Understand.
really, you could tell that they're traditionally country because they get the most excited when you play a Merle Haggard song or whatever, then we're like, okay, let's throw some of those out. Let's keep it 90s based because these guys are really into the 90s. But other than that, yeah, we have a pretty good set list that we keep. But usually most of our shows are 4 hours long. So by the time you build a list of 40 songs to cover, 4 hours worth of music, there's not a lot of room to go, well, let's just change this up completely. So,
Yeah, yeah. So you're
um,
not in those situations. You're not able to do the hour and a half shows or
no,
whatever for the
not
most of the time.
usually. Sometimes it's a 2 hour like opening thing, but for the most part, it's such a cluster to bring bands in and out in town. There's nowhere to park, there's nowhere to unload, there's nowhere
Right.
to,
Understand.
so they're not going to bring you in for just an hour and go, okay, you're done. It's too much work. So most of it's still 3 to 4 hour shows.
Gotcha. Mm, thank you.
Yeah.
Uh, so, uh, do you ever play front porch thing? Just out of curiosity.
Front
Uh,
porch thing, like
yeah,
just acoustic.
by
No,
Little
no,
Whatever.
Big
no. The
Town.
song.
I
Yeah,
I
didn't know
don't
if you.
think
front
it was
porch
a
thing.
huge hit for them. We
No.
know it because of who
Oh,
did it.
okay.
But
The reason why I ask is one of our very first guests wrote that song.
Oh, really?
So yeah, why I
Well,
wanted
now
to
I'm gonna
ask
have to
because I
look
don't
it up.
know. Well, I'm not super familiar with all their music, so in my head it
Mhm.
seems like it's probably a huge song, but maybe it
well,
isn't.
well, because it was co-written by Adam Hood and Chris Stapleton.
Yeah, that was
So
brilliant
And what's
idea.
it called?
Front porch thing.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm
check it
definitely
out.
looking that up when we get done. Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, cool. Well, you can put your intern on that. All right, so we have made it to halftime. I know it's felt like
oh
probably
man,
3 hours for you, Jessica, but
Not
it's
at all.
actually only been 30 minutes. We are going to play one of your songs, and we're going to give you a little break when we do that. So, if you wouldn't mind giving the tune a little bit of an intro back to her roots. And then we'll ask you to hit the little microphone button once you do so we can get the best cut with Chris up there.
All right. You guys, you're listening to my latest single out on radio right now on Texas to Tennessee. This is Back to Her Roots.
Great.
here we go.
She graduated last May from Texas State. Got a job working 8 to 5. It was carpool lanes and commuter trains, so different from her hometown side.
Howdy, y'all.
After all the knowledge she bought in college, she learned it ain't worth a dime. Cause you can't
It's very
put a
high
price
tech what
on
I
a
got going
simple
over the phone over
life
here on
like the
top of
one
this
she
TikTok.
left behind.
I've got my earphones set in front of the phone so that y'all can hear me.
T-shirt, denim, cowboy boots, all the things that make her who she is. Hauling hay till the sun goes down, Sunday dinner on the ground, ready for a change.
Maybe we should redo that, Talbot.
Brand new. Now she's getting back to her roots. She traded her Accord
Yeah,
Sorry,
let's
I'm
let's
gonna
do
play it
that.
again.
Sorry.
for the gun rack
Sorry,
in
Jessica.
the cab. After a good night's rest, she headed west.
And then I'll make a note to
Without
edit.
the
My mess up.
It's fine.
She can work as a retail clerk at her
All right, here we go.
She graduated last May from Texas State. Got a job working 8 to 5. It was carpool lanes and commuter trains, so different from her hometown sites. After all the knowledge she bought in college, she learned it ain't worth a dime. 'Cause she can't put a price on a simple life like the one she left behind. Now she's getting back to her roots. T-shirt, denim, cowboy boots, all the things that make her who she is. Hollering hey till the sun goes down. Sunday dinner on the ground. Ready for a change, she tried something new. Now she's getting back to her roots. She traded her a coat for a 4x4 with a gun rack in the cab. After a good night's rest, she headed west without looking back. She knows she can work as a retail clerk at her hometown tractor supply. Her blonde hair will go as her true colors show, the past that she can't hide. Now she's getting back to her roots. T-shirt, denim, cowboy boots, all the things that make her who she is. Hollering hey till the sun goes down. Sunday dinner on the ground. Ready for a change, she tried something new. Now she's getting back to her roots. She went out on a limb when she decided to leave the security of a family tree. Now she's getting back to her roots. T-shirt, denim, cowboy boots, all the things that make her who she is. Hollering hey till the sun goes down. Sunday dinner on the ground. Ready for a change, she tried something new. Now she's getting back to her roots. Now she's getting back to her roots.
Alrighty, there we go. Take two. Sorry about that, Jessica.
I
You may
can't
need to hit the button,
unmute her.
Jessica.
Yeah.
Are you there?
There we go.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
Welcome back.
I gotta unmute myself.
Yeah,
Forgot.
I know. It's it's a lot of moving parts. Nobody told us this when we started. First of all, when we started the podcast, Soule Gravy said we get to talk a lot about sports. We haven't talked about sports at all. But I like music.
You named me.
too, so
There was
that's
one
why-
baseball player in the.
There was one baseball player.
That's true in the trivia.
Yeah, not so often. Anyway, yeah, great job. I want to talk a little bit about your music community. You kind of alluded to it a little bit. I know we talked about some other artists. Kenny Fiddler, I think lives in South Dakota, and he
Yep.
talked a little bit about how he
He
feels
was
like
the tornado guest.
he was.
Yes.
Yeah. And he talked a little bit about how it's a unique place to live because for him, he can get west, but also still get to Texas, and it feels like it fits for him. I know a lot of your shows are not right next to where you live. So
No.
what is a typical like average drive for you to a show?
if it's not within the triangle of towns we were talking about,
Yep.
it's probably at least a 2 to 4 hour trip.
Okay. All right. And then I assume you plan runs where you go and hit multiple
We
locations
try
beyond the
to,
4 hour.
yeah.
Yeah.
We try to. Sometimes, like I said, with the lack of music venues, spread out so bad, we don't always have that luxury to catch something on the way back home. It
Right.
just depends. But like this past weekend, we did Sturgis. We ran up to North Dakota, and then we came back and did Sturgis again. So,
Okay. Nice.
um, so that was cool. So it wasn't really like some tour, but
Oh,
it was still, filled the calendar and gave us enough time to get here and there. And
the good news is, sounds like there's no radius clauses in Sturgis. So yeah, there's
yeah,
plenty of
there really can't be.
that makes sense.
There really
Um,
can't be.
yeah. So about roughly how many shows do you plan to play in a given year, or maybe over the last year? What number would you?
Last year, so keeping in mind that we live in the Midwest where the winter is a complete 180 from summertime.
Right.
So we go really hard like May to September, and then get a sprinkle of shows in October, and then November back to April is really dead. So
Yep.
if you don't get out and go south or whatever, you're kind of just taking the winter off, right?
Right.
So which is not a bad thing. It's nice to have a break. It's nice to have time to write and everything. But
Sure.
we still did about 65 shows last year,
That's
and
impressive.
all of my band members, including myself, still have a day job. So we're looking at evenings, most weekends. Every now and again in the summer we'll take a middle of the day or middle of the week show because it's like summer nights or whatever. But
Right.
um, but yeah, so for the most part, that's a lot of shows to put in, and still be full time, and then only looking at 5 months maybe
Right.
of a
Yeah.
span. So
No, I mean, you average it out, and that's 130, 135 shows a year, right? Like
hmm
that's a lot. How do
yeah,
you in the summer? How do you keep your vocals kind of up? Because I imagine if you're doing those 4 hour gigs, that can get kind of challenging.
it can we it was crazy because up in North Dakota over the weekend the fires are so terrible. In Canada, it's bringing it all into North Dakota, and now it's starting to creep into where we are here in South Dakota. And it was tough to do a 4 hour gig out there with the smoke and everything.
Oh, I
But
bet.
usually by the time we make it into the heat of the summer, we're pretty good and pretty well, um, are exercised, and that's our strongest we're gonna be all year. So luckily I don't have too many troubles with keeping going like that. But
That's good. All right.
but yeah, I mean, I think last year we might have done like 5 or 6 days in a row, and by the sixth
Yeah.
day you're just tired. There's just all there is to it. So definitely the throat coat tea, the hot water, the whatever on stage, the whatever you can come up with, the shot of tequila or Crown every now and again.
Right.
um
Makes sense.
yeah.
Well, as far as the that single we just listened to, back to her roots. Where was that recorded? Is that fairly local to you, or did you travel
No,
to get that?
I went to Nashville for that.
Okay,
Yep.
okay,
That was done at Saxman Studios in Mount Juliet, with
gotcha,
Grady Saxman.
gotcha. Well,
Yeah.
that's good. When you listen to songs like that back, you had to sit there and listen to yours, 1.5 times.
Uh-huh.
Sorry, uh,
It's okay.
but what do you what kind of goes through your head when you hear that? Are you remembering the times that, the people that were around that was recording it, or are you kind of nitpicking your stuff apart, or what's going through your head?
The first few times I heard it, it was like, I think how everybody reacts to hearing themselves. You're
Hmm.
you're judging it 1,000%, because you're like, man, that's what I sound like. But honestly, Grady did such a good job that usually when I don't even want to watch live video back or anything, when we're on stage, people will post clips on Facebook. I'm like, oh my God, scroll over that. Like I don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
But um, because we just perceive it so differently than what we hear in our own ears, of course. But and not that it's bad, it's just different. and he did a really, really, really great job. And so the first time I heard that, I was really proud of it, really excited about it, really happy with how it turned out. And yeah, it's fun to reminisce back. I don't listen to my own
Right.
recording all that much, um, unless we're really working on them or something and playing them over and over and getting the parts down for the musicians. But yeah, it's a great reminder of like, man, I can't believe I really did that. I can't believe I really went to Nashville and cut an album and got to sit in the studio with these musicians that have a plethora of a reputation playing for other artists and all these things in their catalog, and then here's little old me from Sturgis, South Dakota, not known to anybody, and I'm getting to use the same guitar player that Luke Combs takes out on his tour. It's just wild. It's really wild that someone at my level has access to that.
Yeah. How did that come to be?
I put it in his hands and I said, this is what I want. I want, guitar, whatever. And then he reached out and lined them all up. And then when I got there, I said, who's playing on my stuff? And so then he told me, and he's like, well, this guy, used to go be on the road with Garth Brooks or whatever, and so then you go, oh my God, like, what are these people gonna think of me when I go in there and start singing, But because I wanted to be there, so I'm there. I'm in the room with all of them as they're learning my original music, and
Mm.
and it's really intimidating and really awesome at the same time.
How was the connection made as far as you and that studio as well?
Well, we actually, speaking of famous people from our area,
Okay.
the lead guitar player for Sawyer Brown is from Spearfish, which is just like 15 miles from where I live. And so I've known him my whole life. And he produced my first album. And then they got really busy. Sawyer Brown really took it up
Hmm.
a notch, got some serious traction, and they were getting booked like crazy. And so he said, I just really don't have the time to do a whole album for you. But I think that you should have Grady do it. And Grady played drums on my first album, and so I already kind of knew him. And he's a incredible drummer too. But so that's how I ended up. I said, okay, if you think he'll do a good job on a full album, let's go. And he did. I mean, there's a reason that guy has like 2 billion streams on of stuff that he's worked on, because it's impeccable work.
That's I can only imagine how that would be as far as day one, just opening, just making a noise, singing the first time. That's got
Yeah,
to be one of the craziest, most intimidating. Like you
it
said, I
is.
can't believe I'm here. All the emotions wrapped up into one.
Yeah,
That's got to be something. No, even I mean, I would imagine it's that way with any musicians, and
right.
then when you travel, that just builds the suspense, I guess.
Yep. Yeah, it's a whole different feeling, and coming from the girl that was gonna puke if she had to do a speech in school, down to singing in front of these people that have, way bigger repertoires than I do. It's wild.
Okay, well, we got to touch on that, Tom. How did you get from the girl that might puke doing a speech in high school to traveling to Nashville? I mean, I can't. I've never recorded anything or whatever, but I can relate to the first part to playing gigs now. So,
Yeah, it just kind of evolved. I always had someone with me. That was the thing. I was never up on stage alone, and so I always felt like I had that support or whatever, or someone that was going to cover it and catch it if I didn't.
mm,
And so then it just became, then we started playing in the bars, and I just realized, like, there's the majority of these people out here would never have the guts to get up here and
that's
sing,
true.
and the other part of them are too drunk, they're not even noticing if I screw up. They really don't, and they're
That's a
never
hundred
going to remember.
percent true.
You don't go out the night before and party it all up, and then the next morning you go, the one thing you remember is, wow, she really messed up the lyrics to that Miranda Lambert song. Like, you're not going to remember that. So I really had to put that in my mindset and go, these people wouldn't do it, so let's get after it.
You're right about that. I've kind of had that same sort of realization for
Mm-hmm.
myself as far as I don't know why I'm worried about this because you know most of the people that I know that would criticize it are not going. They're not. even if they are musicians, they're not going to stand up here by themselves and play some
Right.
songs,
Right.
because they just won't do it.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, and some of them are my friends, and I still know that they,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like it,
Yep.
and I think in some ways it earns some respect
It
to
does.
have the guts to get up there and do solo or duo gigs and
Yep.
things like that. So,
Yeah. I still get nervous about it, and I've yet to this day sang the national anthem for anything because that's
yeah.
the
Ooh,
one thing that I'm like,
yeah.
oh my gosh, they are judging hardcore when you do the national anthem.
I,
Everybody's waiting for you to mess up the
Well,
words. Everybody's waiting for you to not be able to hit the high note.
so
And I just recently agreed to do it for a rodeo in Deadwood this summer,
there you go.
and I
That's the way to
can't believe I
start.
did that. But
No. That's perfect.
yeah.
If you're
so
you're
we'll
gonna
we'll
start
see. So if you
before
see
you.
it plastered all over, like, oh, local talent screws up the lyrics to
No.
the
Well,
national anthem,
that's
you'd be
exactly
like,
the
she warned us about this.
Jessica. That's exactly the way to do it. You start with a couple rodeos before you go and do Yankee
Yeah.
Stadium. You know, like you gotta
Yep. I
ease your way
guarantee I
into
will
it.
never accept an invitation, no matter how big I may get, to sing it at the Super Bowl. Never.
That
Never.
seems that seems tough.
What you do is just whenever you feel it start to go south, just shake the mic cord. You know, just
There you go.
pretend
What's
like
going on?
yeah, like there's a problem with the audio.
Where's the
So
sound guy?
yeah,
Yeah,
right. Well,
right.
speaking of sound guy, um, when I did sound with the buddies this past week, they out of the blue asked if someone could do the national anthem. Speaking
Uh-huh.
of this, and they all looked around. They were like, no, no. So I hit I was like, all right, I got the Chris Stapleton national anthem pulled up. You're good to go. We got you.
Perfect.
Nice. Well done, Soul Gravy.
Nice.
Um, Jessica, a couple of things. I'm curious, do you have somebody who you would kind of consider to be a mentor or somebody that you kind of look to for advice, or maybe it's more than one person?
Yeah, the guy that did my first album, we've always looked up to him and followed. It's encouraging and inspiring to see someone that was so close to you and comes from your hometown area to be able to reach that kind of potential. And
Absolutely.
so I've looked to him and counted on him a lot for some guidance to get my foot in, get my toes in the water in Nashville. And I don't know that I would have ever gone that far to produce, to put out two Nashville albums had it not been for that. Because as the general public, I mean, we don't think that we even have access to do that. You think, oh,
Right.
well, you can't go cut a record if you don't have a record deal,
Right.
or,
You gotta have
and
some
that's
kind of
not even the
connection.
case. And most people don't know that. Anybody can go
Mm-hmm.
cut one.
Right.
You go pay for it, you go do it, and so there was a lot that was there to learn. And I'm really grateful to have him as a mentor too. But,
Well, that's
and
wonderful. Yeah.
yeah, having a support system around me, everybody that's from the booking agents to the musicians to my family, having, the guts and the courage to do a lot of this has come from the support from them. So
Yep. Shout out to those folks.
Hmm.
yeah.
So I think if I got it right, you put a record out in 2022,
Mm-hmm.
another one in 2024.
Yep.
Is, are we not any pressure, but is there a chance that we might get one next year? Is that something that might be in the works?
It very well could be.
Possibly.
Yeah, I I wasn't sure about putting another full album out because it's an expensive adventure. Like, it's
I
not
imagine.
cheap. And then I was getting to where I was like, I gotta get some new stuff out there because it's like you work so hard on it, you get all the music written, you do all this stuff, you finally get it cut, you finally get it released. Well, by that time it's a year old to me.
Right.
So
Mm.
I'm almost sick of it by then. So then I'm ready for the next thing, and here we haven't even hardly pushed the album I'm on. But yeah, I would really love to put some new music out at least every 2 years. And I guess I kind of started out doing an album at a time, but that's really not necessary. I could,
Yeah.
could probably just do a couple singles or whatever. I've learned that it's probably better to release, singles every 6 or 8 or 10 weeks rather than just dropping a whole album at once. That's one thing I wish I would have realized and known before I did that, but it's all right.
Yeah,
Learn.
that makes sense.
So yeah, that I think from now that'll be my goal, is to try to, I might write and record a whole bunch of stuff all at once, but then I'll just start dropping it a little at a time, or maybe every 6 or 8 weeks do song until I've had 3 or 4 or 5 out, and then release the rest of the album or something.
Seems to be the trend, right?
But yeah, I would look for some new music coming out. I'm actually, next week I'm headed to Minnesota to do some vocals on a duet that's with another artist that is part of that Country Music Awards show that I was in. So there will be at least one new single for sure out before the year is up.
Oh, very cool. Well, we are excited about it. Any shows that you want to talk about? Anything that you have coming up in the next, I don't know, 60 days or so that you'd like to let the folks know about?
We're gonna be traveling quite a little in the next couple months. A lot of it is South Dakota still, but we've got some big shows coming up. We'll be headed to Jackson Hole, Wyoming. That's the home of the $1 Million Cowboy Bar. We'll be at the Silver Dollar, which is right next to it.
Across the street.
We'll be making a big trip back to Nashville for that award show for the Grand Ole Opry.
Absolutely.
Of course, that's not till November, but and the motorcycle rally, that's we can't leave there, so we'll be doing a bunch of shows at home coming up in the next month.
Fantastic.
What,
All right.
is that stuff that you'll have on your socials and your website as far as during Sturgis?
Oh yeah. Oh yes.
So I mean, that would be a good chance that folks could possibly see your story here.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
come, so many people there.
They
There's a
do.
good
Yeah.
chance that-
A couple.
Yeah. A few
Yeah.
people.
That'd be wonderful. Yeah. I always post all of our upcoming shows. Everything I've booked so far is at jessicaloobey.com.
Okay.
We have our schedule posted there, and then my socials I try to keep up with much as possible. That should be another slice of the pie, is the learning to have social media as
Oh, yeah.
just as equal of a important slice as the rest of it, because we're in a world now where you have to make that priority just like you do the rest of it, or you fall behind.
Absolutely.
Tough.
All right. Well, we are to the point, Soul Gravy, if you're good, we are to the rapid fire part of the show.
Oh man.
So, yeah, you don't have to think a ton on the. Go ahead. Sorry.
There's one that I want to make sure you ask one of the questions about the.
All right. Well, why don't you start off rapid fire then?
All right. What was your first concert, and that you ever attended, and then what was the first one that you paid as a adult to go see?
Oh my gosh. First concert I ever attended. I think it was a three-part thing with Brad Paisley, Terry Clark, and
Good lineup.
there was a third artist that came to Rapid City, and we don't get very many big concerts in our area because we're just not populated enough. So to be able to have
Big
something
deal.
like that come was really awesome. Man, the first one I paid for, boy, I don't know. I really don't know. One of my best memories was Miranda Lambert has always been a big influence on my music. I love the sassiness, the classy, she can go from tradition, very very traditional, to like really on the edge of being sassy and rock and roll kind of. And so I spent a birthday weekend. We traveled to Sioux Falls, which is about 6 hours away, and saw her and Pistol Annie's and somebody else together, and that was one of the very first shows that was super inspiring for me.
That
Gotcha.
does sound like fun.
So my reason for asking that was because Sawyer Brown was my first concert.
Was it really?
Yeah, in like 85, 86, something.
Oh my
of that
gosh.
nature. Yeah,
That's
at
way
a,
cool.
At a local fair. So
I saw Sawyer Brown in St. Joseph, Missouri in 1992, I think.
Gotcha.
And it was a big venue. Like, it's the biggest venue in town. It was huge. It was probably 10,000 people. So
gotcha.
yeah, it was
Nice.
great.
He's still just as energetic as he was back then.
And our buddy from Belle Fourche wrote a song with him. Actually, they're one of their last songs.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
really?
So TJ and Cody wrote a song with Tennessee Jet, and Cody Jinks wrote a song with Mark, and I think it was the last one they put out, actually.
Very
So,
cool.
Yeah, all kinds of South Dakota ties.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna get to some of the other questions here. I can't ask you this one, so I'm gonna just go ahead and skip that.
I know which one that is.
What would you be doing if you were not doing music?
Well, I am a 14-year beautician, so I do
Oh,
that.
okay.
Yeah, that's my day job.
Oh, wonderful. Did
Yep.
not.
So
Okay,
when we're not on the road, that's what keeps the money flowing in the wintertime.
sounds good.
So I would have to say that's what I would be doing if I
Yep,
didn't have music.
that's a great
So
answer.
that gives you a little bit of flexibility on your schedule.
Yes.
That
Yes. A
yeah,
lot.
that's
Perfect.
really good.
All right. Oh, here's one. What do you see when you play? So you're up there in front of everybody,
Hmm.
going at it. What do you see?
I see the connection and the energy. There's always a handful of young girls in the crowd that I really try to connect with
Hmm.
because they're the ones that are gonna be impressed and impressioned by that, and remember it for ages. So if I can get them to start singing along to a couple lyrics or get them involved with a Shania Twain song or whatever. I love looking out and seeing people mouthing the lyrics or we finally get to a song where it's like that's the one we needed, and it pulls everybody to the dance floor. Um, there's so much to watch. Sometimes it's a bar fight in the back.
Yeah, there you go. That's one of those things that you kind of, until it happens, you don't really expect that you're going to have to deal with
Yeah,
that, and then you're like, all right, well, I got to figure this out on the fly,
Yeah,
yeah,
right? Yeah.
yeah.
I always play "Why Can't We Be Friends"
Oh, nice.
what is
Love
it?
that
Three
song,
Little
Gravy.
Birds by Bob Marley.
Oh my
Yeah.
That's
gosh,
usually
that's
my
funny.
go-to barroom fight in
Well
a
played.
redneck bar playing Bob Marley. It's pretty good. So
That's funny.
I had a guy come up and give me a fist bump last time I did that. He's like,
Oh
"I
my
caught
god,
on to what you were doing." It's like,
Yeah.
that's
good. That means
awesome.
somebody was
Somebody's
listening.
sober.
Exactly.
Right. Appreciate that.
Uh-huh.
All right. Jessica, tell us what your ideal green room looks like.
Ideal green room. So this is a good story. We were just up. This will be an example of how down home artists are here. So we were just up in North Dakota, and their green room is this old vintage green school bus.
Huh.
And they gutted the school bus and put chairs in there and everything. And they brought us this buffet of like pulled pork and chips and cookies and whatever. And then we came home with 3 times the alcohol that we took there. And so we were just like, man, this is so cool. Like, we are not high maintenance at all. We love just having this kind of down home experience. And I would take that over any highfalutin foo-foo thing ever. That's just the way we are. I don't know if the southern or midwestern roots or what, but
Yeah.
it
Well,
was it was cool.
suddenly I'm hungry and thirsty. So shout out to the Big Green Bus. That's awesome.
Yes,
Uh-huh.
it's called the pickle.
The pickle. All right. Nice. All right. Next question is bucket list venue. Is there a venue in your state that you haven't played that you would like to play, and is also maybe another venue outside of South Dakota that you would like to play?
Yeah, there's only two major venues that are open year round that host national acts in our area, and so there's one called the Monument. It used to be the Rapid City Civic Center. Now it's changed to the
Oh,
Monument,
okay. Yep.
and they've really redone it and they're bringing in some really big people. They just had we just went to Cody Johnson there. We had the night off somehow,
Oh,
and
nice.
so went and watched Cody Johnson. And I was like, man, I would love to be able to, do even an opening act in here, just to be
Sure.
like, really feel like we've at least leveled up in our own area. But yeah, bucket list outside. I'm sure it's probably cliche to say, but like the Grand Ole Opry
Yeah,
and
that'd be pretty
Red
cool.
Rocks, that's probably the two that would be really major milestones for me.
All right. Two more questions, and then I will hand you off to Soul Gravy for the very, very important question.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
We're going to learn a lot about how far
Yeah.
north. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So this question is: oh, you could put your music on any soundtrack, TV or movie. What would you put it on?
Hmm. What would I put it on? Man, I don't know. If I wanted to get like really famous and make millions of money, it should have been on like the soundtrack for Friends or something.
Oh yeah, that'd be good.
But or Yellowstone.
Also good. Yeah.
Do like kind of a Lainey Wilson thing.
Yep. That would be cool.
Uh, yeah, that's those would probably be the two ideal
Okay,
TV
good,
shows.
good answer. And then, what's a perfect day on the road for you? What's that look like?
Yeah, oh man, getting packed up in the morning, getting on the bus, hanging out, driving, just playing acoustically. Everybody has their instruments out on the bus. We've done that multiple times. Absolutely love it. Stopping over, on some rinky dink diner halfway to wherever we go. Having everybody that walks out looking at the bus like, wow, who's that? And just having that camaraderie time together is what really makes it. You really get to learn people's personalities and joke and have fun and build the band family.
Cool. Well, great answer.
Mhm.
We are ready for the final question. Jessica, thank you so much for taking time to chat with us. This is the most important question of the evening. Soul Gravy. There you go.
All right, make sure you follow Jessica on all of her socials, and go keep up with her website. Follow her on Instagram and TikTok and all of her places. Wherever you stream your music, make sure you hit that follow button. So when she releases her new singles and things like that, you'll know when they come out. So it doesn't cost anything, but it helps everyone involved. So,
Yes, it does.
um, yeah, I'm curious about this. So this started off as a joke on episode 1, and now it is a requirement that we ask. So Jessica, what is your favorite Little Debbie snack?
The Nutter Butter or the Nutty Bars. Nutty
The Nutty
Bars for
Buddies.
sure.
Huh?
Yep.
Okay.
How
All
about
right.
that?
Nutty.
Okay.
Yep.
I was
It's
a
been
little
kind of
nervous.
spotty how far
North it goes.
west and north Little
Yes.
Debbie goes, but apparently she has traveled to South Dakota. So
Oh yeah. Yep. The Nutty Bars for sure. There's literally like a box in the cupboard. I can see it from here.
Oh,
okay.
perfect. How about that?
All right.
Shout
Fair
out to
enough.
Little Debbie. Little Debbie, just FYI,
She
we're
gets
still
around.
available
Yeah.
All right. Very
for
cool.
sponsorship opportunities. So.
All right.
That's
All
right.
right. All right, Jessica, we appreciate the time. It was good to talk to you. Good to meet you.
You too. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you, Jessica. It was
See
great.
ya.
Appreciate it.